What's up and welcome back. I'm John Stark from MacTheMovieGuy.com, your favorite blind film critic. And today, we're going to take a look at Canary Black. This is a new movie that's on Amazon, available for Prime subscribers. And it stars Kate Beckinsale, Rupert Friend, Saffron, Burrows, and the late Ray Stevenson. Rest in peace. It is directed by Pierre, who is best known for being the director of Taken when we look at his filmography. I think that's probably the film that stands out the most. So what did the director of Taken do with Kate Beckinsale, who has proven herself as a solid action lead throughout the Underworld franchise? Well, let's find out. This movie does have audio description, and it's human, so that's good, because with Amazon, you know, it's a toss-up, but it is an original, and they generally are committed to putting human audio description on their own product. Canary Black features a loving couple, a nice husband and wife, who the wife, played by Kate Beckinsale, just happens to be in a position where she might be able to come into some information, and a terrorist organization takes advantage of this and takes her husband hostage, takes him off the table and uses him for ransom so that she will break all of her oaths, so to speak. There's a hilarious scene. I have to bring it up later on. But I'm going to try to keep this as non-spoilery as possible for you guys. But, and steal something called Canary Black, which is like the code name for like basically, the kind of thing that anybody wants to find in a list of, like a list of spies, like their, blackmail and stuff like that. And, the MacGuffin that's in like every single the thing that needs to be found in most spy movies. That really, I need you to find something. What? I don't know. You'll find it when you know. Like, I don't know though. How am I going to find it? I just want to make a film where they don't ever say it, and they're just like, but they make like a really great spy movie, and like, what is it that they're finding? It doesn't really matter, because they're always finding the same things. It's either like nuclear codes, or it's like the entire roster of like every spy ever, like the location of all the spies. It's never anything like really unique or interesting. Like, those are the movies that I miss. It's like, what do you need us to find? The Holy Grail. Oh, great. Yes, that's amazing. Thank you. I've always wanted to Indiana Jones my way through being a spy. But yeah, yeah, she's finding a list of, so she's gonna have to break protocol, and you know, she uses her back channels and her connections to try to maneuver her way through things. And it feels like a film that didn't go to theaters. That's what I would say. It feels like this is a film that sort of Aaron Eckhart has been making. Although for some reason Aaron Eckhart is allergic to audio description, so all of his films don't have audio description. But he's been in like 4 of these this year, like Chief of Station, Land of Bad. God, he was just in another one. He's got like 4 of these, and they're all like just sort of very generic action films. That's what his career has become. And for Kate, it's nice to see her kicking ass at 51. I feel like I don't get to see her enough. I remember being really excited that she had a show on Paramount Plus a while back that only got 1 season and it wasn't very good, but I was just excited to see her. Hollywood seems to be very fickle about who we do and don't get to continue to see star in quality films and quality television series. So I'm less concerned about Rupert Friend. I do remember, what was he in, like The Young Victoria? He's had a couple roles, but I'm not like emotionally attached. Saffron Burrows was somebody who I'm always connected to because I really love Deep Blue Sea. but I don't think she had nearly the career or the run that Kate Beckinsale had. And Ray Stevenson, of course, he's balanced both TV and film throughout his career, and probably most notably inheriting the Punisher franchise, Punisher Warzone. So, yeah, this is, if you like spy movies and you just want to watch lots of spy movies, it's a fresh one for you. But it's going to feel like the ones that you've already seen. So I don't know that that's any better than anything you've ever seen before. Kate Beckinsale is fine in this. I didn't really feel like anybody was bad. I just felt like the film was hitting all the typical beats, and I could kind of see where it was going, where it was headed. I kept expecting a certain twist at the end that didn't happen, and it kind of went for the easier of the two endings instead of the harder ending, I would say. So, a couple of the audio description, I would say, one of the shining moments of audio description that I remember was sort of what sounded like a really cool stunt, which is when she gets kind of caught midway through the film, and you're like, oh, how's she going to work her way out of this? And I think, like, the terrorists help her out by riding up on these cars and placing these, like, explosive devices on the sides of the cars. And I thought that audio description was pretty solid, explaining something that was fairly complicated to pull off stunt-wise. Probably one of the more involved sequences in the film. So that was probably like the highlight for me of the audio description. There's also, but then there are moments like towards the end, somebody jumps out of a window, and I was like, there was a window there? How far? Where'd he go? Like, just to the ground? Like, who just jumps out of a window? Like, I mean, like, it looks cool in action movies, but, like, when you think about it, you're like, how high up is he? Where did he go? What was down below? What did he land on? You know, like, you just, like, so many questions come into play. I was like, that window was big enough for him to jump through? Like, you know, I was a little confused that way. It's like, oh, he's just jumping the windows now. Okay, like the Kool-Aid Man. All right. So, sometimes being blind, the audio description is a win, and sometimes it gets weird. And your mind leads you in a direction where you're like, oh, yeah. I'm going to create our own entrances. But it's just, it's average. I'm not going to drag this movie. I just feel like it's fine. It's, you know, Amazon has made, they obviously they make films that could go to theaters, that are set up that way. And I think somebody analyzes them and goes, nah, we're not going to put the marketing behind this. And we're going to send this to Prime. Because sometimes it looks like that they have the cast, they have the meat, they have a director, and you're like, why is this going to Prime? And I think it would have been really hard to sell a Kate Beckinsale movie in theaters unless it was really good. Unless it was, you know, like the kind of like the next John Wick. But I don't think she's that far removed from being able to without having to jump back into the Underworld franchise. Yeah, she'll go theatrical if she ever revives the Underworld franchise. But Underworld Legacies. Underworld, the Legacy sequel you never thought was coming. But you know, I mean, it has a competent director behind it for the most part. So I don't think Pierre Morel is one of the greatest directors we've ever had, but he's clearly made some successful films. So I'm not going to slide him on that. And, yeah, so if I think about, you know, I recently reviewed The Last Breath, which was the final film of Julian Sands, and I'm thinking about this, and it's like, is this the final film for Ray Stevenson? You know, is this how he wanted to go out? Is this how he wants to be remembered? Because I think there are better roles that he's had throughout his career, certainly more substantial roles. So, career kind of ending on a little bit of a whimper. But definitely not nearly what Julian Sands' career ends on with The Last Breath. So this is a little bit more passable of a film. but it's not really any better than, again, I think I've given almost every single Amazon original this year about the same grade. Like, I felt about the same way with like Ricky Stenicki, Role Play, Space Cadet. I think they're all kind of like the same, with Divorce in the Black maybe trailing a little bit behind, but they're all very just sort of mid films, and they're all very sort of average, and you can see things in them that you've seen done better before, but there's a reason why you're there, and chances are it's because you like an actor. That's the thing, is that they're pulling these actors in and trying to get you to be like, do you like Kate Beckinsale? Do you like John Cena? Do you like Kaylee Cuoco? Do you like Emma Roberts? Do you like Tyler Perry? Like, what do you, there's a reason why you're there, and it's likely because of the star, which is basically what Netflix is doing with their weekly releases. Something like Trigger Warning with Jessica Alba is asking you a question like, oh, are you a Jessica Alba fan? Well, here's a movie for you. So I wish we were offering more to the conversation, because I do think Netflix occasionally makes a swing that really connects with an original. I think every once in a while I do actually watch one of their random streaming movies and go, oh, I really like that. With Amazon this year, I felt like everything was very mid, and I feel like they know they're mid. But the good thing is they're not atrocious. They're not bad. They're not like pumping out film after film after film. It's just like, oh my God, please stop giving me terrible films. There is a certain quality and level that's been put into these films, and it's worth, I don't know, at least mentioning. But I don't think anything in Canary Black is necessarily going to change your life or your world. You've seen this spy movie before. The question is, do you want to see it with Kate Beckinsale? So, I don't know how many people are going to answer that question yes, but if you have Prime, I guess. The funny thing is, when I watched it, it was its debut weekend. Unfortunately, it debuted during spooky season, so I don't know when I'm dropping this, but it's going to be in November, because this isn't a scary movie at all. But it wasn't even #1 at the time. It was #2, so it can't even win its own weekend on its own streaming service, which I find to be kind of hilarious. Anyway, so Canary Black, what do we do with you? What am I going to do with you, Canary Black? I'm going to give you a C, which is like basically the exact same grade I've given the other films. They've either been like C+, C, C-, but they've all been sort of mid films. I don't think I've ventured away from that for these Amazon originals. And then every once in a while, they'll give me a Challengers, and they'll be like, oh, guess what? We also have Challengers, which I think was an acquisition title for them. I don't know that they actually made that. I think they bought that at a film festival. So it would be nice to see Amazon making more surprises and more big swings and more like, oh, well, that was really good. That was surprising. I really like that. But you get what you get. Anyway, please click like and subscribe. Thanks for watching me and taking a risk on a blind film critic, and I'll see you guys on the other side.